So we all have our stories of a moment in time that kind of set our life on a new course or shifted us in a new direction. And when it comes to getting real, which is what all my work is about, I would say that the pivotal moment for me was the birth of my daughter, or more a few weeks after the birth of my daughter, when she was 3 weeks old. And I went to my first Moms and Tots group. And, it had been the most awful experience. I was in pain. I'd had a cesarean. My cut wasn't healing. I was a complete zombie. My husband was a zombie. We could barely look at each other. My daughter had an issue feeding, so she was up, every few hours. It was just excruciating breastfeeding. It was just a really, really kind of dark time for me. And I was feeling deranged. I think all new moms do. I was just feeling completely outside of myself. And I needed to go somewhere to speak to people or someone who could relate, who was going through the same stuff, where I could just get into some support space to feel, held, to feel that I wasn't the only one, to feel that I wasn't totally failing at parenting before the first month was out. So off I went to my first Moms and Tots group. And, I don't think I'd bathed that day. I don't think I'd washed my hair in a week. Baby puke on my shoulder. I was so beyond caring at that point. So the fact that I even got myself into clothing to get there in itself was a miracle. So I arrived and there were 12 other women in the group. So we all sat down in the circle, and the host started with the woman on my left. So I looked at this woman who looked like something out of the Stepford Wives movie. She was immaculate. Immaculate. She had this beautiful dress on. Her hair was clean. It was blow-dried. She had makeup on. She was wearing high heels. She just looked absolutely beautiful. And her baby was sleeping serenely in her arms, So she starts to speak in this voice that just started singing about the most incredible experience she was going through. She was loving every moment of this. She was in love with her husband. She was in love with her child. Every day was a miracle. She just would stay awake watching her baby sleep. It was love that she'd never experienced before. Her baby was sleeping through the night. Right there, I wanted to stab her in the eye. She just was talking about this, just incredible space she was in. So, I couldn't quite process the words that were coming out of her mouth, so I just kind of kept my head down. And then the host moved on to the woman next to her, and she too was dressed beautifully, hair blow-dried. Baby also sleeping. All the babies were sleeping, except mine. And also spoke about this amazing experience that she was going. I'm loving every moment of this. If I'd have known this, it would be this easy. I wish I'd had two. Anyway, she carried on with the same story, and it went on like this with every single woman in the group. Every single one of them talking about the most, beautiful, wonderful, incredible, amazing kind of experience that this motherhood was. So it came to me, and I just said, well, I don't know what all of you are going through, but I'm hating every moment of this. I am in pain. I can't get the breastfeeding right. I'm exhausted. I'm terrified that I'm now responsible for this being completely. My husband and I can't relate to each other at all. I feel like an outsider looking in on my life. I'm scared all the time. I'm just not enjoying a single moment of this. To which Stepford wife on the left here lets out this huge sigh and goes, "Oh, thank God somebody said it. I feel exactly the same way." And then, like dominoes, the whole group of these women all, "Yeah, no, me too. I'm exactly what you said. I'm hating it. My husband's pissing me off. I'm freaking out about, being the responsibility. I don't know if my child is okay. I'm scared. I stay awake because I'm scared they're going to die in their sleep." Every single one of them. And I looked at this group and I thought, what the fuck are we doing here? This is supposed to be a safe space for new moms who are completely shredded to come and find holding, to come and be with a ring of sisters, to come and have a space to share, to connect, to talk about, all that dark stuff that, no one's allowed to talk about when you have a baby. And all I found was the biggest pretense, the biggest faking it, and the competition. At a space when most of us were at our most vulnerable states, all the woman could think about was competing with the one next to her about how much better her experience of mothering was. So, it was great that by the end of the day, we could all start getting a bit more real with each other. Realize that, 10 of the 13 of us were on antidepressants. None of them were sleeping. Most of their babies were colicky or having issues of some kind. Half the group was struggling with breastfeeding. Nobody's relationships were working. No one was having sex with their husbands. I mean, who's having sex with their husbands 3 weeks after giving birth? Fuck's sake. So it was just a space of judgment, I felt. And as much as we got real by the end of that session, I didn't go back. Because at that stage of my life, I didn't have any energy to deal with judgment, competition, or any of the other stuff that was going on there. So it was a real kind of pivotal moment for me, because after that experience, my work on myself and on, in my work with my clients ramped up radically into what it means to be real, especially for women who feel that they've got to put on this facade day in and day out, that they're coping, that they're fine, that they're handling motherhood, that they can have it all, have a career, raise a kid, be a perfect partner. It's breaking us, maintaining some facade of what we think it means to be successful in this world. So, for me, the more real we can all get with each other, the more we all actually have a chance of making it. The more we stop competing with each other, the happier all of us will be. The more we start supporting each other, the more compassion will exist on this planet. So stop pretending you are okay when you are not. Because if you're not okay, and you can show that you're not okay, it opens the space for other people to go, "Oh, thank God, there's somebody else who's in the same space as me. Somebody else gets this. Somebody else I don't have to fake it with. Somebody who's not going to judge me or reject me or laugh at me if I also express my vulnerability of how I'm not coping either. And maybe together we'll find a way through this." So this is why I do the work I do. This is why I commit every day to really pushing people to confront their masks, their facades, their acts in the world. Because who are you doing it for? Why are you doing it? Do you think anybody is buying it? And let's all just support each other getting back to some real truth, some complete raw honesty. Let's remove the veils and the crap and just be in that authentic space of who we are, warts and all, and start creating far more genuine relationships with the people in our lives who are connecting with the true versions of who we are versus the false versions we all like to enhance. So go and be real.